Hello there, my name is Aaron Smillie, and I'll be taking you on a whirlwind tour of assembly and getting you up and running, ready to tackle any creative challenge in the world of vector art. What is Assembly App? Well, it's the premier art and design app on your app store. Create logos, icons, illustrations, and more using Assembly's powerful, easy-to-use features only found in professional desktop software. We will focus on tracing images, point editing, the Boolean toolset, strokes, and designing your first architecture. Since learning these basics, I've gone on to create hundreds of assembly projects. This is the art we'll be building today. It's worth noting that right from the start, I'm using the iPad version. I actually normally use the mobile version, but I'm just using the iPad version because it's easier to record this tutorial. They are exactly the same. Let's open up Assembly. Let's get started. Once you've selected an image, the first thing we're going to need to do is block it out using simple shapes. Select a square and tap on the pencil icon and go into the point editing mode. Hold down and drag the two bottom points to make the rectangle longer. Place in position and duplicate that shape. Another way to rescale this is to tap on the shape and move the handles around the edge, in and out. When these shapes are not exactly square, it's better to use the point editing mode to adjust each point individually. Now let's repeat this across the entire image for all the four-sided shapes. Let's speed this bit up. Now it's time to start work on the roof. Let's select a half circle, rotate it round and go into the point editing mode again. Let's stretch the two bottom points down so it looks more like the smaller domes. Put it in place and edge it into position. Duplicate and place on the other side. Now, let's move to the largest dome in the center. Grab yourself a circle. A really great way to match a shape to an image is to use the stroke with the fill turned down. We can then adjust the points more accurately because we can see the entire image. Right, let's grab another circle, stretch it horizontally so it matches the line where the rectangle meets the sphere. We can use the Boolean function to cut this shape out from the circle. Now let's fill in this section and add a point to the top. Duplicate this. Now we want to create the smaller roofs. Because the shape is slightly different, let's go back into the point editing mode and change these lines from curved to straight. Merge these two shapes together by tapping on the Combine button in the Boolean toolset, rescale and put in place. All we have to do now is add the missing rectangles in this tower. Let's speed through this process as we did it before. Voila! Let's turn on the stroke and make all the fills transparent so we can see what we're working with. Right, now we're going to start working on the arches. Grab the shape that most looks like our arch and let's go again into the point editing mode. By adjusting these handles we can now match the curvature of our arch. Now let's simply duplicate and rescale and place where the other arches are. These shapes now make up the basic structure. Let's start to move away from the image by adding a solid background. The first thing I notice when I look at this is it's a bit of a mess. Let's start by cleaning up some of these gaps to make them as consistent as possible. We're missing a spire at the top. Let's add one of those. I think our four towers lack definition. Let's add some horizontal lines running down the structure. That's looking really good. Now let's have a play with the colours. Let's remove our large image and change the shape of the background. Let's now decorate the background by adding an edge and a base. It now feels like it really belongs in the circle. The final thing we need to do is a subtle background shape. And that's done. You can export this in all the normal ways. This is a really simple way to create a beautiful piece of architecture just by using a few basic skills.